Let's go to the phone lines now, joined by the Director of Athletics at the University of Tennessee, Danny White. Danny, thanks for joining us, and welcome to the nation.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me.
So, huge news this week. You guys are unveiling, I think, what is just a dynamite tribute to 4 Trailblazers that have played football at the University of Tennessee, and those 4 being, Lester McLean, Jackie Walker, the great Condridge Holloway, and then T. Martin. And they were Trailblazers in their own right. First African-American player, first African-American All-American, first African-American quarterback, and then first African-American quarterback to win a national title. All things that were done at Tennessee before they were done at other institutions. When you got here and you kind of saw that, how kind of excited were you to, make this an initiative early on and get this across the finish line and do what is such a neat tribute?
Yeah, the first thing I was really excited when I learned this story. It's such a unique story and something that I'm excited that we're going to get to tell, and can't wait to see the statues up and have the unveiling here in the next few weeks. But the first thing I did getting to Knoxville is I wanted to learn about our history, and I think to pave a path forward, which we're in the process of trying to do, you really need to understand your past. And what I learned is Tennessee as a university and as an athletics department, we've been progressive along the way. That's kind of how we built the brand. We were first movers in a lot of different things. And in this area, it's probably most special just in terms of our endorsement of African-American student athletes and football players. And these 4 firsts are an awesome part of our history and something that we're going to celebrate.
Hey, Danny, it's Chris Lowe, and like Austin, it's great to be catching up with you tonight on the Nation. I wondered, after you guys announced this venture, how many people have you heard from? Players that played with Condridge and T and Lester and, teammates and people that were around Tennessee when those guys were on campus. Have you heard from a lot of those people?
We have, and we've been working on this for the last few months. So a lot of the guys that are close with our 4 honorees are, we're, I think, pretty knowledgeable about it. But I think there's great pride from all of our former football players that we're doing this. I can't wait to see a lot of them at the unveiling, and it's a great part of our history, and it's a story again that needs to be told. It's a pretty impactful one, and we've heard a bunch from former players and just alums and donors, and people are proud about this project and about the accomplishments of these 4 alumni.
You had the really neat and well-done video by VFL Films that kind of detailed part of that. It was probably up, 6-8 weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, and narrated by the great Charles Davis. I could listen to him. He could put me to sleep at night. He's just so good. When that video came out, it also mentioned, being Trailblazers with women as well. Is that something you want to get done as well? Looking at the at the female athletes that have come through Tennessee and honoring them as well.
I think we'll continue to look for ways to celebrate our past. I think it's important, and then we need to build a bold vision for our future. So internally, we're working on a strategic plan with our staff on what that looks like. But yeah, when I talk about being aggressive, and that video you mentioned was kind of the main video for our My All campaign launch, and Charles was gracious enough to come up here, fly up to Knoxville, and spend some time in our studio and help us with the voiceover. But I thought our creative team did a great job of telling that story, whether it's racial equality or gender equity, or we were the first in the SEC to build a lot of the facilities that we had, when we probably 15, 20 years ago could say we had the best facilities in the country. And we had this bold orange color, we still do, that we're proud of, and we built a national brand. So I'm excited to being aggressive as we look to the future and building, a bold vision. And as it relates to celebrating our historic success in women's athletics, we're going to continue to do that, and we want to continue to support those programs to reach even greater heights.
Hey, Danny, it's Chris again. You be sure and tell Charles when you see him again that his old classmate, freshman classmate in '83, said he didn't always make it to that 750 astronomy class up on the hill every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And for full disclosure, neither did I. So you be sure and point that out to him the next time you talk to him. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this: as we point toward Tennessee's opener here in a couple weeks, what do you most look forward to? Your first year, your first game as Tennessee's athletic director, and what do you envision football looking like this season as far as will there be a mask mandate? How many people will we have in the stadium? As we point toward, I think we're all excited and hopeful for football and people being back in the stadiums. What do you envision it looking like?
For a Vol fan, my answer may sound boring because I really am genuinely really excited just to see a lot of the traditions. I can't wait to see Vol Navy. I can't wait to see our team, run through the Power T. And so it'll be my first game in Neyland Stadium. I'm excited about that. We are planning for full capacity, and we'll continue to, as we have all along since prior to even my arrival, work with local health officials and make sure we're being responsible. I know our fans expect that we do everything we can to make it a safe environment for them, and I think we can. I think we showed that in baseball towards the end of the year. We had some great crowds, and we're able to do that and maintain a safe and healthy environment. And we're going to do the same thing at Neyland.
This is such a fishbowl, so to speak, when it comes to like being the head coach, being the AD, that type of thing. How have you kind of adapted? I'm sure when you're out and about, people come up to you and want to talk to you about Tennessee sports and getting Tennessee back and that type of thing. What's been that like around town for you?
I've actually been surprised coming from Orlando to Knoxville. I thought that there would be a lot more of that than what reality has been. I think this is a great community. We're learning very quickly, and my wife and I came here with 4 kids, and we get out and about town, and people might hit me with a "Go Vols" or kind of a quick conversation, but I think I find myself in more conversations around town about being a new family in the community and people welcoming, and the folks in Knoxville have been absolutely awesome. This Southern hospitality is legit here in Knoxville.
Yeah, but Danny, you're unbeaten, man, in football, and your baseball team just went to the College World Series. What do you expect?
Yeah, we're undefeated, right?
Hey, let me ask you this, and I think you have a really good perspective on this, having been in the SEC previously. You come from UCF, one of the real powers and among the group of 5 teams. With OU in Texas here in a couple of years joining the SEC, who knows what that does down the road to the landscape of college football. What do you think the sport's going to look like 3, 4, 5, 6 years from now? Are we going to have super conferences? Are we going to have one big super division of football? Or is that premature to even go to that point at this point?
It would be all speculation. I don't think anyone knows. I'll be in SEC meetings actually starting tomorrow over just on the other side of the mountain over in North Carolina. And, so it's a massive a time of massive change across the board, obviously in college sports, with everything that's coming at us from NIL, the new transfer rules, all that's happening. Obviously, taking Oklahoma and Texas on, which we're excited about. I think if the SEC wasn't already the toughest conference in the country in every sport we compete in, which I think you could say that we were already, but now we certainly are, adding those 2 just prestigious institutions with big-time athletics departments. So we're ready to step up our game. I think we all know that here at Tennessee, we haven't been where we want to be as an athletics department. Some sports have, but a football program has not. And a lot of sports, we want to get back to competing for national championships. And so you can look at it like that just made it harder. Well, if we're trying to win a national championship, it doesn't matter who's in our conference. We're going to have to play everybody and beat everybody anyway. So I love what it'll do for the future of the SEC. I'm really looking forward to what our conference schedule can look like, and maybe playing more meaningful football games for more teams. across our conference and across the country later in the season, as I think about late October and November, and division races, the conference championship is just going to be awesome in the SEC, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out. But I'd be completely speculating to guess what the future looks like. I think by and large, we'll probably all find out together, as we have with a lot of the change that's come at us so quickly here in the last 12, 18 months.
Danny, I know you spoke at the Rotary Club the other day. You had addressed the investigation there with Mark Emmert coming out and talking about, that he kind of envisions a smaller role for the organization, that being the NCAA in college sports going forward. Does that change anything? With kind of how you all approach stuff as far as self-imposing or any of that type of thing?
So I got my hand slapped. I'm not supposed to talk about the investigation. So
okay, that's fine.
I have to limit what I say, but we're going to continue to operate with integrity and try to do the right thing, and let's see how this thing plays out.
Danny, it's Chris. I think I was looking this up before the show. You're the 6th AD at Tennessee in the last 20 years. Josh Heupel's the 6th head football coach at Tennessee in the last couple decades. As you guys go forward, not just as a football program, but as an athletic department, how important is stability? I see you have added a ton of guys around you. You brought in a ton of people around you in the athletic department. But as you move forward in trying to make Tennessee and get Tennessee where I know all Tennessee fans want them to be, how much will stability play in that role?
I think it's a great word. It's something that I think our fans need to hear. We all need to hear it. We need stability. It's been, I know, a frustrating ride the last couple decades, and we're doing everything we can to fix it as fast as possible. We got to support these coaches. We have great coaches across the board. We had our best spring season ever. You mentioned baseball, but across the board, we had an awesome baseball season. We had an awesome men's tennis finish, made it to the Final Four. But by the numbers, it was our best spring season ever. So we have a good thing going, and we want to have a great thing going, and that means consistency and I'll go back to your word, stability. That's how we win at a really high level, and I know that I know our fans get that, because when we're winning at a really high level, we kind of had that. So administratively, we've had to do a lot of things to put in place and get some people in with some perspective on operating the way that a lot of the schools that have kind of passed us. We need to generate more revenue. I know we can. I think we got the biggest and best fan base in college athletics, and we got to take advantage of that in bigger and better ways. And we got to implement best practices in some areas, and then we got to come up with some unique and innovative ideas and have some people chasing us. And so I feel really good about the team we've assembled in the football building and in our leadership and our administration. And there's no shortcuts. There's no magical solution. It's going to be hard work every single day and having a consistent positive approach. And if we do that, I know we're going to have a ton of success here. I know we're going to win national championships, and I know we're going to bring our football program back where everybody wants it to be.
All right, two things that will get you out the door. First off, you talk about raising the money. How well has the shareholder society been received, and how much have you kind of been excited to see? Because, you're always putting out news tweets of new people with the donations and stuff. Just kind of what's that been like? And then two, everybody says, if you get football back, it cures everything. But how can having the smaller sports have success help football? You know what I mean? Like you talked about the really good spring season, tennis, baseball. Let's not forget about Coach Webb and the golf team who made it to NCAAs. Those type of things too. How do those smaller sports kind of collectively help bring football along as it gets more stable?
Yeah, we talk about building a championship culture and having student athletes care about, team success is greater than individual success, and you're not going to win a lot if your players don't grab onto and believe in that mantra. But even bigger than team success is the success of the other teams around you, and really being passionate and bought into the idea of anybody wearing that orange, anybody wearing our logo, we're going to compete for championships. We're going to support each other. we had a championship culture in the conference that we were in at my last stop, and I think that it became contagious, and it was something that we talked about building a top 25 athletics department there with a pretty limited budget, and we kind of did that in just about every sport. Here at Tennessee, we're as we finish this strategic plan I mentioned, we're going to have a bolder goal and ambition and what we want to do, and it takes everybody being competitive, being confident. Our student athletes need to have a little bit of a swagger about us. Our fans, the same thing. And, we can expect success and we can expect to compete for championships, but we also, I'll go back to Chris, to your word, stability. We got to show some consistency in our approach. And when needed, we may need to have a little bit of patience, but we're going to get there. And I think everybody's going to like and be proud of the athletics department that we build here from this point forward.
We appreciate the time, and we look forward to seeing you over there in just about 2.5 weeks at Neyland Stadium as Tennessee opens the season on Thursday night, September 2nd.
Awesome. I can't wait. Thanks for having me on, guys. Go Vols.
Appreciate it. That's Athletics Director Danny White. Let's take a break. We'll take our first break and then come back with a shorter second segment. Great stuff from Danny White as we kick off this season of The Nation.